Snapper! What's going on? A lot of feedback last night overnight about the little snap that I did here with Robin before bed. It's a hot topic because a lot of people in demand for that kind of information, that kind of knowledge. So, I'm going to do a little mini lesson this morning. Today's mini lesson is for those of you who are in a new relationship, in a fresh relationship, or just about to get into one. It's called the Keep Your Shit Together strategy. Those of you who follow me through Infinite Prosperity, or you're here to learn how to make money, keeping your shit together in your relationship plays a role in that. A big role. Go and look at the divorce rates. 50% divorce, they'll take 50% of your stuff. You have a 50% shot of losing half your shit. What other area is that a possibility? If you want to know how to keep your shit together in intimate relationships and social relationships, 90% of the keep your shit together strategy is breaking fantasies. It's breaking fantasies about what a relationship is, what love is, what falling in love is. People think that they know what it is. Forrest Gump thought that he knew what it is. I know what love is. I question that. He was a pretty dense fuck. I think he might have a little bit of infatuation with Jenny. And as you're about to learn, infatuation isn't love. Infatuation is infatuation. We'll talk about that. Falling in love is not wise. At the level of our souls, we have unconditional love. We are in a state of unconditional love. We're on equal playing fields with every other individual on the planet. If, through a series of circumstances and perceptions, we start to fall in love with someone, what we are doing is we are falling down to a place where we look up to them. We're down, we're falling in love with them, we look up to them, we think that the sun shines out of their ass, they can do no wrong. Let's first understand that this isn't love. This isn't falling in love is kind of a false concept. Love is presence. This is infatuation. And in a state of infatuation, we get some chemical releases. The first one you get is dopamine. Heaps of dopamine. Feels great. The next one you're going to get is serotonin. Serotonin literally masks pain and discomfort. Anything that the person does wrong that you're infatuated with and you're getting a serotonin release, you'll be masked to it. Let me know if you've ever seen someone in a relationship, at the early stages of a relationship, who are blinded by love, is what they say. It's not kind of real. They're blinded by infatuation and serotonin release in the brain. That's what they're blinded by, because it masks all the pain and discomfort. They're not blinded by love. You don't get blinded by love. So, now you've got the girl or the boy, and you're infatuated with them, and you've got them on the pedestal, you've fallen in love with them, you're looking up to them, and relatively speaking, you've got the serotonin releases, you're masking all the downsides of them. Now you go and have a little bit of a kiss and a cuddle, and maybe some sex. And then you get the endorphins, and then you get the oxytocin. Now you're a chemical shitstorm. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins are the feel-good hormones. They're the feel-good chemicals. You're not smart when you're run by them. You act like a kid in a candy shop. You're not grounded, you're not wise, you're not present. You're actually not in love, you're in infatuation, and you're run by chemicals like a drug addict. And you become addicted to it. When people say on the social, I'm addicted to my partner, they're not addicted to the partner, they're addicted to the fucking chemical release. The person doesn't have some kind of magical addictive magnetism. Just go and ask their ex. The ex was with them long enough to realize that they have two sides. But in your juvenile infatuation with them, you only see one side. The serotonin is clouding you, it's blinding you, you're seeing one side of them, you're infatuated with them, you're addicted to the chemical release in the brain. Go and have that guy, or go and have that girl, go and have sex with your best friend and see how you feel. You'll have withdrawals from the chemicals. It's like a drug addict when they stop taking drugs. This way of doing relationships, particularly new relationships, is what most human beings on the planet are doing. It's insanity. It feels really good for a short period of time, but it's insanity. That's not how you're going to have an empowered relationship. The things that we learn in Hollywood movies fucks people up. They say that the goal in a relationship is to fall in love and to stay fallen in love. It's not sustainable. Because when you spend 3 months with someone, you start to realize that they have two sides. Just like you and just like every other person on the planet, we all have two sides. The chemicals start to wear away. And all of a sudden, we feel like we're not in love anymore. You were never in love, you were in infatuation. And then that's when the arguments start, because you think that there's something wrong. You think that there's something wrong with you, or the partner, or the relationship. When in fact, it's probably perfect the way it is. But perfection in the real world, on planet Earth, in reality, has two sides. Good, bad, happy, sad. We don't live in a fucking utopia. And so 3 months in, you've fallen in love, you're infatuated, you're run by chemicals for 3 months, they start to wear away, you start to see the other side of the partner, and you start to think something's wrong. Then you go looking for the next one. I've seen people make a career out of this, make a whole life out of this, jumping from partner to partner to partner to partner, looking for the one, looking for the magical soulmate. They've been watching too many Hollywood movies. And if, God forbid, you fall in love with someone who has also fallen in love with you and you're both fallen in love with each other, this is what it looks like. It means that you've actually subordinated to and infatuated with a fantasy about the relationship and what that partner will provide to your life. They're over here doing the exact same thing. They've fallen in love with the fantasy about the relationship. You've both fallen in love with the fantasy. And that will wear away in time. And when it does, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you or the partner or the relationship. It just means that you're pulling back to equilibrium. Or if you have a really strong fantasy, it'll pull into resentment. If you are hell-bent on a utopian, la-la land fantasy about relationships and you think that they're always going to be good, always positive, always happy, always supportive, always praising, you are going to be pissed off about reality, about the reality of the universe. It doesn't work like that. It's not designed to. You would never grow if it was like that. And so I've seen how people have these such strong utopian fantasies that because they're never met by reality, they pull into resentment, and so they resent the partner. Because remember, resentment and depression is a comparison of your current reality, the real world, to a fantasy that you're addicted to. When you go and break the fantasy that we're living in a one-sided universe and you're going to find someone that always supports you and always praises you and always positive, then you can get back to equilibrium and love. And that's when a real relationship can start. That's when an empowered and sustainable relationship can start. Otherwise, you're going to be oscillating between infatuation and resentment. So, that was the theory component of the lesson. Now, just a few snaps on practical things that you can do if you find yourself infatuated with someone. Step 1, go and realize that your partner that you're infatuated with has another side. And that's not a bad thing. Everyone has two sides. Love them for that. If you don't love them for that now, and you have a fantasy for them that they're always going to be positive and supportive and nurturing and caring, when they show the other side, you're going to resent them for it. Step 2, to the degree that you've fallen in love with them and you're looking up to them and putting them on a pedestal, go and write down all the drawbacks, all the negative parts of being with them. Let me give you some examples. Is it costing you money to be in the relationship with them? Do you have to shout things? Do you have to sacrifice going out with your friends to be with them? Do you have a monogamous relationship where you're not allowed to go and have sex with other people? Is that a negative thing for you? If you're with a girl or if you're with a boy, there's 3.5 billion alternatives to the one that you're with. Does that not make you think, fuck, what else is there? Is that not limiting? Does that sometimes pull you out of presence and make you wonder what if? That's a negative thing. That's one of the negative components of having a relationship. If you're in a state of severe infatuation, looking up to someone, stacking up the drawbacks and all the negatives actually helps pull you back into equilibrium. If you keep going, if you keep stacking up all the drawbacks, you'll actually pull into resentment. You'll go the other way, and you can do that. Why is usually not to go that far? But when you get to balance, when you get to center, when you get to love, that's where your power is. That's where your poise is. That's where your balance is. That's where the results are. That's where you have the most power, and also you have the most attraction as well. It pulls you out of neediness. No one wants someone who's infatuated with them and clingy, wants to do everything. That's ridiculous. Finally, step 3, go and give them a challenge. Go and challenge them. When we're infatuated with someone, we usually want to soft-cock them and feather them. Go and give them a challenge. Hit them with some hard questions that you perceive that they might not want to answer. Go and ask them, what are you doing with your life? What are your goals for the future? Hit them, put them on the spot. What are the last 5 books that you've read, and what are the next 5 that you're going to read? Are you learning? Are you growing? If not, what the fuck are you doing? And why do you deserve to be with me? Obviously, you could do that more tactfully. Don't say it exactly like what I just said it, but don't be afraid to give them some challenge and see what they're made of. It'll open your eyes to another side of them that you may not have seen yet because you haven't been willing to go and probe them that deep. Also, it'll let them know that you're serious. You're not here to fuck around with losers. So, that concludes today's lesson. If you have any questions that maybe I didn't cover in that, send them through. Robin and I might jump on here later. That there was just a introduction, elementary introduction to my philosophy on relationships. If you like it, there's so much more to come. There's a fuck. We could talk a lot. We could talk a lot on it, and I know that it's going to help people because the more couples that I talk to, and the more students that I'm taking on in my one-on-one mentoring, the more fantasies I'm seeing. There's so many fantasies out there. And I'm so confident, I'm 110% confident that I can break the fantasies and I can get people results and I can get people empowered in all the areas of their life. It's achievable. And it's not just money anymore. The last 5 years I've had Infinite Prosperity. I've proven that I can get people results in their financial world. I want to tackle a bigger cause. I want to attack every fucking area of life. I want people to be empowered. I want my students to be empowered individuals on planet Earth. And I know I can do it. If you're interested in my message, let me know. Keep in touch. Send lots of love. Send lots of messages. Because it's this year it's happening. 2017 it's happening. Are you infatuated with me?
No.
We joke about being infatuated with each other, which sometimes we dip into. This here Mercedes, it says C63 AMG S, whatever that means. I don't know what the S is. It's the toughest sounding Mercedes I've ever heard. Maybe if you're a car person, you can fill me in. What's the S? I think it's an S. Could be another letter, but I'm pretty sure it's an S. Hit it with the Jeep. Snapper, check this shit. This here is Robin's book. That's Nadia. This Saturday, Robin is doing like a pop-up store. She's gonna have food. She's gonna be selling books. This is the venue. Fundies at Corinda. What time, babe?
9:30 to 11:30.
9:30 a.m. Saturday, Brisbane.
We'll be doing a book signing. I'll have some food from the book there that you guys can eat and try.
There'll be books, there'll be food, there'll be signings. I'm gonna be there in Lucy. I'm gonna be drinking coffee. I'm gonna be eating acai bowls. They do a good acai bowl.